Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose and today we got a knife review. But before we start that, I just want you guys to check this out. This is the Knife's mat. I think so. Knife's is a brand now by Ben Blue. I call him, but it's not really Ben Blue. It's I think Ben Peters or Peterson. But I'll leave links in the description below. I figured I wanted to get the banter knife. It's made by We, but that thing sold out so fast I didn't get my hands on it. But I figured I needed to at least have this mat here. One, just because it's super cool and it shows off the banter knife. But two, as a reference guide when I'm making videos, oftentimes I go blank and I forget, what the grind might be or what the profile of the blade might be. So this is just here to, one, visually show you what I'm talking about, and two, help me remember what I'm talking about. But that being said, let's get into our knife today, and that is the Kizer Lieb. This is the Kizer Lieb, a very nice, kind of classy gentleman's carry knife that I went ahead and pulled the trigger. It's a little smudgy, my bad. But let's go into it. And two, I don't know if I'm going to keep this mat out here the entire time. When I have a black knife, it kind of blends in there. So we'll see. Give me some feedback if you think I should just pull this out when I need it for reference and keep the old cutting board or leave as is. Alright, so the overall specs on this knife. The overall length is 5.75 inches. The blade length is 2.375 inches. Cutting edge is basically the same because it actually goes to the top of the scale there, so that's actually pretty cool. You don't necessarily see knives with this that length of a cutting edge as far as the blade length is, so that's neat. Blade width 1 inch at the widest there, and then blade thickness is 0.10. The handle length is 3.5 inches long. The handle width is 0.87 inches wide, but it seems at least about an inch. I don't know. And the handle thickness is 0.43 inches thick. The overall weight on this knife is 2.71 ounces, which is nice because I prefer my knives under 3 ounces. And yeah, let's get into this. So this knife is designed by AZO, and it is called the AZO or the Lieb. And it is a small kind of EDC, classy, urban EDC gentleman's carry knife in my opinion. And yeah, it's from Kizer. That being said, let's go into the handle or the blade design here. It's kind of a unique blade. I didn't really know that the profile of the knife would be so upswept. But it is like they have it as a Wharncliffe. And I would agree, but it's weird that you have a Wharncliffe that has such an upsweeping blade with that much belly. Usually there's no belly on a Wharncliffe, but very interesting knife profile. It is a flat grind, plain edge blade, satin finish. You do see the Kizer logo there on the front. And then on the back, you pretty much have a clean blade. And then you can see, if I can get it in focus here, the Lieb and the AZO right there in the corner, which is kind of nice, kind of neat that they tucked it in right in there. Fits nice and well and keeps the blade looking pretty clean. There is no jimping up top, and this is a designated flipper. There's no jimping on the flipper, but I do like that the overall shadow box design of it keeps things nice and smooth and you don't get caught up on anything. I will say, as far as the deployment goes, it works fine, but it does feel like the detent's a little sticky as far as like it's a strong detent, because I have to push fairly hard for it to pop out, but it does flick out with authority. I believe it's on washers, but I don't know, and I failed to leave that in the specs, but if I find out, I'll put it in my description. But it flies out really smooth, really nice, and yeah. So moving into, man, that blade shape's so strange. I'm used to it being more straight and not sweeping up like that, but Oh, just weird. Works well though. It is a good slicer. All right, going into the handle now. Like I said, it has that shadow box design where the G10 scales is outlined by the actual liners. The liners are nice and polished, satin finish. Looks really sharp. Everything in on the interior with those liners are like mirror polished almost. So it looks really clean. We have this nice satin pivot pin with a blue pivot collar there. Always looks cool. Works definitely better for the black G10 handle scale in my opinion. And obviously it works better on certain colors. But this knife does come in a variety of colors as far as the G10 scales go. There's a brown and as well as a natural G10 or a jade. But I went with the black because I thought it looked the best. Besides just the overall profile of it, it does have some very geometric edges on there, but they're all rounded and smoothed out and comfortable. Like I said, no jimping, so that will be kind of a slick area later in the testing. I did find it interesting that they did have kind of like these divots milled into the G10. It's similar on both sides, and I think it just adds a little bit of look to it, as well as some functional grip. It feels really nice when I'm doing this because that thumb can kind of just lock in there. But, you know, it is what it is. Just adds to the knife, but I really like it. Going on the flip side, all the silver, all the hardware is silvered. It is flow-through construction. I would have liked to have seen the liners milled out a little, but there's no milling on the liners on either side, really. So if they would have done that, this would definitely improve the weight of the knife, but I guess they chose not to. It is a liner lock, as you can see there, and here it does protrude enough that it's easy to get access to it and disengage. So yeah, we have double barrel back spacers here. There is no lanyard hole, and then it is a one side position pocket clip tip up, right side only. Alright, so now we'll go into some comparisons, and I realize I just run into the first problem with this, and that is taking away my grid line. So maybe I'll start with that and then remove it as we go, but here we go. So we're going to compare it to the Fox Knives Mini or Baby Core, whatever it's called, Mini Core. I like smaller knives, obviously. We got our mini bug out. And why not? Ooh, actually, let's do another Kizer. We'll go the mini sheepdog and the Archbishop. So there you go, guys. These are all kind of small knives. They all kind of fit in the same category. Kind of the top of the handle scales where I'm measuring. Looks like it's about 2.5 inches in blade length. Really similar to the Baby Core as far as handle length and blade length. Looks like all the other knives are just a titch bigger. This is 2 3/4 inches, and these are about 2 3/4 inches. So yeah, handle length, longest handles go to the Archbishop and the mini bug out. But now let's compare the thickness. So, spine thickness, you can see the Lieb looks slightly thicker, but I don't really think it's actually thicker. If it is, it's just slightly thicker than the Archbishop. Baby Core. Think they're about the same as well, but might be just a hair thicker than the Baby Core. It is thicker than the mini bug out. And back to another Kizer, and basically identical as far as blade thickness and handle thickness. Very similar. Blue pivot collars, but the mini sheepdog is definitely slightly longer blade, longer handle. So same pocket clip, I think, or similar. Yeah, love the mini sheepdog. Super cool knife. So that's the comparison. Last test. We're going to go into the ugly brown glove test. Right off the bat, the G10 does feel nice. Those divots in there make it easy kind of pinch and grip. So really nice. I can definitely tell that the shadow boxing that's smoothed out and chamfered along the way there is very slick, especially with the cloth glove. But I can find the flipper easy enough. Ow. Don't cut yourself, Moose. And yeah, it feels alright, honestly, with that flipping. So, and obviously I can disengage the lock, easy enough to find. One little test here. It is about a 3-finger grip. So it is a smaller grip, so don't expect to have a 4-finger grip. It can slide. The finger guard works well. And if I pinch on the G10, it does hold pretty well. It would have been nice if there was a little bit of jimping, but then again, it kind of compromises the style of the knife. Works alright though. Does it pass? Yes. What do I give it? Honestly, I'll give it a B-. B- on the Ugly Brown glove test. I don't know if I mentioned it. This is N690 blade steel, which is decent steel. You know, fairly water resistant as far as I know, and slice as well, holds a decent edge. So pretty happy with it. Price wise is under $60. 3 different colored handle scales or options, and it's I consider this another really good Urban EDC knife, and I think that's kind of the trend I've been trending towards lately with some of these other knives. Like, you know, do they look cool? So like, to me, an Urban EDC knife for sure is like something that looks a little bit more stylish, a little bit more of a gentleman's carry, leaning towards that direction, and you know, is smaller, something that you can carry within the city limits, something that's an EDC knife you can carry, you know, every day if you're going to, you know, have a drink with buddies or whatever. And I feel this fits that role. The only thing I wish, you know, I prefer deep carry pocket clips, so that's kind of my only ding on it. But other than that, if you're looking for something with a unique kind of blade shape and a different kind of design to switch it up a little bit, this ain't a bad option. And for under $60 at the time of this video, I think it's worth it. So there you have it, guys. That's my review of the Kizer Lieb. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Leave any questions or recommendations as well. Take care, guys. Be safe, and I'll see you outside. Peace.